For over 300 years, making candy canes was so difficult that 1 out of every 5 would shatter before reaching your hands. Then a priest changed everything. Picture Christmas in 1670 in Germany. No electric lights, no Christmas trees in homes yet. But churches across Europe were staging elaborate living creche ceremonies, live reenactments of Jesus' birth. These ceremonies attracted families with young children. And those children got restless. Very restless. Sugar was expensive, reserved for medicine and the wealthy. But candy makers in cities like Cologne were experimenting with hard sugar confections shaped into simple sticks. According to legend, the choirmaster at Cologne Cathedral faced a problem. Children attending Christmas Eve services were disrupting the solemn ceremony. He needed a solution. The story goes that he approached a local candy maker with an unusual request. Create white sugar sticks, but bend the tops into the shape of a shepherd's crook. The symbolism was deliberate. White represented Jesus' sinless life. The crook honored the shepherds who visited the newborn Christ. The candy would keep children quiet and teach them religious lessons simultaneously. It's a beautiful story. There's just one problem. No documentation of this story exists before the mid-20th century. It's almost certainly a myth created centuries after the fact. The actual earliest written mention of a candy cane appears in 1866, in a short story published in Ballou's monthly magazine. The author describes mammoth candy canes but mentions no colors, no peppermint, and definitely no religious symbolism. By 1874, magazines were casually referencing candy canes as Christmas treats. In 1882, Babyland magazine described tall, twisted candy canes hanging on Christmas trees. They were already common, but where they came from remained a mystery. Whether the Cologne story is true or not, one fact is undeniable. Making candy canes was brutally difficult. The process required heating sugar to precisely 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Any cooler and it wouldn't harden. Any hotter and it would burn. Candy makers had to pull the hot sugar by hand, stretching it into long ropes while it was still pliable. They had only minutes before the sugar hardened. Peppermint oil was added to the white base, a crucial detail. Even today, only the white portion contains flavor. Those red stripes, purely decorative. The bending was the killer. Workers had to curve each stick at exactly the right moment. Too early and the cane would lose its shape. Too late and it would snap. Breakage rates exceeded 20%. For every 100 candy canes made, 20 became garbage. It was wasteful, expensive, and limited how many could be produced. In 1919, a confectioner named Robert McCormick started making candy canes in Albany, Georgia. Initially, he made them for local children as Christmas treats. McCormick's operation was small, but demand grew. By mid-century, his company, eventually called Bob's Candies, became one of the world's largest candy cane producers. But the process was still agonizingly manual. Workers stood at assembly lines, bending each cane by hand as it came off the line. The breakage problem persisted. Enter Gregory Harding Keller. He was McCormick's brother-in-law and, remarkably, a Roman Catholic priest. During summers, Father Keller worked in the candy factory between his studies in Rome. In 1957, Father Keller filed a patent for the Keller machine, a device that would revolutionize candy cane manufacturing. The machine automated everything. It twisted soft candy into spiral stripes, bent the canes into their signature shape, and cut them to precise lengths, all without human hands touching them. Breakage rates plummeted, production speeds multiplied. For the first time, candy canes could be manufactured at industrial scale. The timing was perfect. Post-war American families were embracing consumer Christmas culture. Candy canes transformed from rare treats into ubiquitous decorations. They appeared everywhere, hanging on trees, stuffed in stockings, lining walkways, topping cupcakes. The candy cane became inseparable from American Christmas. By the 1970s and 80s, manufacturers began experimenting with flavors beyond peppermint: cinnamon, wintergreen, cherry, even bubblegum. Today, candy canes come in dozens of flavors and wild color combinations. But the classic red and white peppermint remains the overwhelming favorite. The candy cane industry produces over 1.7 billion canes annually in the United States alone. 90% are sold between Thanksgiving and Christmas. The mechanization pioneered by companies like Bob's Candies and the Bunty Brothers, who filed early patents in the 1920s, created an entire seasonal industry. Specialty candy makers still produce handmade canes, but mechanized production dominates. The automation that seemed impossible in 1918 became routine by 1960. Early candy canes were pure white, straight sticks. The crook shape appeared sometime in the mid-1600s or 1700s. We're still not certain when. Red stripes became standard in the early 1900s, though exactly why remains unclear. The peppermint flavoring emerged as a favorite because mint was associated with medicinal and digestive properties. Sizes exploded in variety: miniature canes for party favors, standard 6-inch versions for stockings, novelty giant canes reaching 3 feet long. Modern candy canes bear little resemblance to those original white sugar sticks. Walk into any store in December and you'll find chocolate-filled canes, organic versions, sugar-free alternatives, and flavors ranging from pickle to bacon. Yet the traditional red and white peppermint cane remains dominant, accounting for approximately 75% of all sales. Some things don't need improvement. The candy cane's journey from disputed legend to mechanized marvel mirrors Christmas itself, a blend of religious tradition, commercial innovation, and cultural nostalgia. Whether the Cologne Cathedral story is true or fabricated, candy canes succeeded at their supposed original purpose. They bring joy to children at Christmas, and sometimes that's all that matters. If you enjoyed unwrapping the twisted history of candy canes, subscribe for more stories about everyday objects with extraordinary pasts. New videos every week.